Okay,
Great, thank you. All
you're
right,
welcome.
so welcome to Your Body's Inner Wisdom, also known as Intro to the Nervous System. And I'm hoping and praying that next half hour that you spend with me here today, everybody's watching this tape and also Vic who's here live. Oh, we have Judy too. Hi, Judy.
Hello.
We're here with Victor.
Hi, Victor.
Hi, Judy.
All right. So I'm hoping that we leave in the next half hour feeling like this was a half hour well spent.
Okay.
And that when we're done, you're going to have to actually, that you've learned something that can make a difference in how you're going to live.
All right.
All right. And be happier and healthy. All right. Now, I have a question for you guys. Who here wants to be healthy?
I do.
You do. All right.
Me too.
And you too, Judy. And can you please let me know? Usually everybody says they want to be healthy. What does that mean to you?
For me, it means that my body is operating in the way it was designed, in a good way.
Uh-huh.
And that means I have sufficient energy.
Good
My
energy,
system is good.
right?
I'm feeling good.
And oh, Robert Muley just joined us too.
Hey.
Big Bob. All right. And how about for you, Vic?
I would second what Judy said, and I would also say being able to do the things that you would like to do.
All right.
Mhm.
I'm totally on board with both of you guys. So energy, right? You want energy, enough energy to do all the things that you want to do, but you also want to be able to function, right? Be able to do what you want to do. So that's freedom. So I'd say health, energy, freedom to do what we want, be functioning fully. And I think about the energy too, and you think about a kid, the kind of energy that a kid has, right?
You mean the perpetual motion machine?
Right. You know, just that joyful life, right?
Yes.
That joyful life where you wake up in the morning and you actually are looking forward to your day,
Yeah.
right? All right. So, the World Health Organization, you could read this yourself, physical, mental, emotional well-being, not just the absence of disease or infirmity. Golden's medical dictionary is the ability of an organism to adapt to its environment. I love that. But what does that mean? All right. I'm going to do my best to explain that. Okay. So can you guys see me standing up here? Am I in your view?
Yes.
Yeah.
So every time we take a step, there's thousands of messages, millions of messages going between the brain to your, down your legs, to your feet, to balance. Different muscles are tightening up and loosening up. Ligaments are tightening and loosening up. It's a miracle just to be standing up and taking a step. The amount of information that flows between the brain and the body is incredible. Just to take a step. All right. Now, what happens when we start walking faster?
The body has to work harder.
What's that?
The body works harder.
Your body has to work harder. And what would you think you might notice as you start walking really fast?
Sometimes the internal things don't always fire quite as they ought to.
All right, but what are those internal things that you need to walk fast?
Your
Um,
Your
heartbeat.
heart, right? Your heart
Yeah.
starts beating faster to pump blood. So what's happening, you're walking fast, and your body tells your brain, hey, brain, we need more energy. We need more oxygen to get to the body. So start pumping. Start pumping faster. and the heart will stop beating fast, right?
Mm-hmm.
Action and response. What else happens?
Breathing also
Breathing, right?
increases.
So you start breathing faster,
Mm-hmm.
right? And deeper. Need more oxygen.
Mm-hmm.
So same thing. You're starting to walk fast. The brain, the body that sends a message to the brain. Hey, brain, we need more oxygen. Brain sends a message back to the body. There you go. Start breathing faster. Back and forth, just like, oh, Pat, let me go get the safety pin. Hold on. I forgot to bring that. So here we have the safety pin. And the brain, and this part represents the brain, and this represents the body. So messages flow from the brain to the body, and the body back to the brain. And that's how we're able to adapt and respond to all the needs that we have. Let's say we have a germ. Body sends a message to the brain. Hey, brain, we got a germ. Brain sends a message back to the body. Hey, let's get our metabolic temperature higher. Let's create a fever. And so it goes back and forth. Now, what happens when we have a subluxation is that path of communication gets broken.
Mm-hmm.
And we're not able to adapt and respond the same way. Make sense?
Yep.
All right, perfect. Oh, you know, one of the examples I love, all right, is, have you ever experienced you're walking down the street and you don't realize there's a curb there? Now, if you knew the step was there, there's a part of our nervous system called proprioception. It tells us where we are in space. So as you would reach that step, your body would absorb the shock, absorb the weight of that extra weight of coming down on the curve. Make sense?
Mm-hmm.
But if you're not aware that that curve's there, what happens?
You hit hard.
Yeah, you hit it hard, right? You didn't take the cushion. You didn't adapt and respond in the right way.
Yep.
All right? And proprioception is a very interesting thing. Proprioception, like I said, tells us where we are in space. And one of the things that happens with most people who are on the spectrum or autistic is they have a very poor sense of proprioception, where they are in space. Has any of you ever gone cliff jumping at all?
No.
No, I'm sane.
What?
I'm
No.
sane. I don't jump off a perfectly
When you were a
good cliff.
kid, you never jumped off a diving board when you were a kid?
Oh, yeah, but I knew where I was going.
Right, but you ever have that feeling when you jump off a high diving board and you go like this? Like you get that feeling in your stomach and you go like this? I do,
Yeah.
all right? So when I jump off, like, you know, there's a place up by Minnewaska, you go cliff jumping, and I jump off and I go like this. Why I'm doing that, it gives me a sense of my body. I could feel my body in space that way.
Ah.
Gives me a sense of proprioception. So people on the spectrum, you ever see when they go like that?
Yeah.
They feel their proprioception is so off, they feel like they're jumping off a cliff all the time.
Ooh.
And
Not
doing
fun.
this gives them a sense of where they are in space.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the nervous system orchestrates our ability to adapt and respond to our internal and external environment. Subluxation stops the flow of information. That's that safety pin again, between our brain and our body, limiting our ability to adapt and respond. And what is health? Health is our ability to adapt and respond to the demands of our lives.
Okay.
So now we're going to go in another direction. Can your health be degenerating and you still don't have any symptoms?
Yeah.
Yes. Right?
Only 10% of the nerves feel pain.
What's that?
only 10% of the nerves feel pain.
Right. This is
So-
an interesting fact. 30% of the people who die of heart attacks have absolutely no idea there's anything wrong with their heart.
Ow. Mm.
And, you know, I unfortunately had the experience the last couple of years where I've lost 2 relatives to pancreatic cancer. I had absolutely no idea there was anything wrong with them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, when we look at this picture here, let's say at birth we have 100% function.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's when we're just babies, kids. They just have that energy that we were talking about. They could just bounce off the floor and be absolutely fine, right? And at death, let's say we have 0% function. Agreed?
Okay.
All right. So what happens between birth and death is that as we grow from childhood to adulthood, to middle age, to old age, we have a constant barrage of stress upon us.
Mm-hmm.
Physical stress, even gravity is a constant physical stress upon us,
Yes.
right? Sitting in cars, sitting in chairs, different accidents, you get in a car, what, you know, constant. And all the mental, emotional stress that adds up over the years, right? And then all of a sudden, you're probably about, I see it all the time, 40, you know, everything's been going fine, right? And all of a sudden, at 40 years old, your back goes out.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Now, did that back start to break down at the time when you started feeling the pain there?
No.
Right? It was a gradual stress of building up over years and years of
Mhm.
breaking down. Now, if you went to a medical doctor because your back went out, what would they usually do for you?
Pills
Meds.
and physical
Meds,
therapy.
right? So you take meds, and does that help the functioning of your body?
No.
No, it just kind of takes away the symptoms, and then, you know, eventually you kind of feel all right, and you keep on going in this route. And your body's going to keep breaking down and degenerating and breaking down and degenerating until, as you get old, everything has really broken down a lot. And that's what we see a lot of. Now, if you ended up going to a chiropractor, what we're trying to do as chiropractors is start bringing that function back to your body. So instead of going in this direction, in terms of your function, you start going back in this direction. And we see it all the time. People start feeling younger and healthier, and more energy and more vibrancy. Because now the function is starting to work. They're able to adapt and respond in a healthier way. Everything's working better. All right?
Yeah.
Now we're all going to get here, no doubt. And we're getting closer and closer every day. All right, but Oscar Wilde said, like, I want to be like a candle burning brightly to the very end.
Mm-hmm.
Right? We're all going to age, but we don't have to break down in age. We're all going to age, but we don't have to get old. And that's what chiropractic means to me.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what I've been talking about in the office too is our body is constantly breaking down, and then we have that healing power inside of us that we regenerate. And we break down and we regenerate. And we break down and we regenerate. And as we get older, the breaking down seems to exceed the regenerating. But when we're subluxated, it's much harder to access that healing power. And we start losing that race.
Yeah.
Make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So I have a question. Is vomiting healthy?
Well, if you got something in your stomach that you really shouldn't have there, yeah.
Feels terrible, but yeah, It's a wonderful thing,
Mm-hmm.
right? Eat some lo mein, end up with ptomaine, puking your guts out, thank God.
Mm-hmm.
Situation where you don't feel good, but you're actually having a very healthy response. How about a fever?
It's a good sign usually.
Yeah,
It means your body's fighting an infection.
exactly. And how about pain?
Yeah, that's
I have
another
a friend whose
signal.
cousin is quadriplegic, and he can't feel in his legs, and he was sitting by a radiator with his leg up against the radiator and got third, fourth degree burns,
Oh,
and it became gangrene.
oh,
So pain is there for a reason to let us know something's wrong, right? But we live in a society where if you're not feeling good, you figure, let me just take a pill for it or something.
yeah.
And a fever, you turn on the TV, they're saying if your kid has a fever, here, take this Tylenol. You're actually stopping your body from doing what it needs to do.
Mm-hmm.
And you're prolonging the situation. And you're not allowing your body to kill that germ.
Yeah.
Now let's go back to pain being healthy, right?
Mm-hmm.
So why do we have symptoms? Like you said, tells us something is wrong, right? Could you imagine going to a mechanic because your engine light's on and he covers it with black tape? Is that any different than taking Tylenol for a headache?
The engine light is not, the engine problem is not going to heal itself.
Exactly.
So,
All right. So in chiropractic, we talk about something called innate intelligence and universal intelligence. So universal intelligence is that intelligence and balance in nature that when left untouched, everything works the way it should. There's a wisdom. And I love the story. Oh, wait a second. Vic, you might know this better than me. Do you know the story of the wolves?
I'm not sure. I'm just reading the screen here now.
What happened was
you mean in Yellowstone?
exactly. Do you know the story, Judy?
Yeah. Um, the wolves were eradicated because they were bad. And that was a large perception of the European heritage ranchers who came in. The wolves were accused of killing off parts of their herd, which probably was partially true. Once those wolves were removed, the herbivores, especially the deer, became overabundant. They ate more than the ecological system could replace, and things started to get pretty barren.
Exactly.
It reintroduced the wolves, reduced the deer herds, and the the earth itself started to heal. There are now flowing streams, healthy grass meadows, flowers, small bushes, and eventually trees that were able to survive the grazing of the deer because there was not an overpopulation. So the wolves brought the deer population back and other small animal populations back into balance.
Exactly. Right.
Mm-hmm.
So the wolves were a very important part of the ecosystem. When they were removed, the whole thing just went haywire.
Yeah.
And it just kind of ruined the whole ecology of that area.
Oh, yes, very badly.
Now it's all come back. So, like I said, in universal intelligence, there's a natural balance or wisdom in the design of nature. Now, we also talk about something called innate intelligence. So, innate intelligence is the body's ability to heal itself. It's also what you might think of as our vital force, our energy. We're not just a piece of meat.
Mhm.
We have an inner light. Subluxations block this vital force. And I've talked about it before in the office. Lux in Latin also means light. So subluxation means less light. So when I'm adjusting you, people usually come to a chiropractor for pain.
Mhm.
But my main concern for everybody and my goal for everybody is for them to be able to experience that vital force and keep their body healing at an optimum level all the time for their whole life throughout their life.
Mhm.
I have the pleasure of getting to adjust a lot of newborn babies. Usually, mothers bring them in when there's a problem with nursing. And I have a training. I went to I had a very specific training in learning how to work with these babies with all kinds of problems. But the moms bring them in because of the nursing, and usually when I check them, I find that there's been a trauma, a birth trauma.
Mm.
And just 2 weeks ago, and this happens all the time, a mom brought in a baby and said the baby just never smiles, never laughs, just cries all the time, and had problem latching and nursing. So I checked the baby, and I could just feel that the whole nervous system is just locked into the stress response,
Oh.
probably from birth trauma. And I adjust the baby, and right there on the table, as soon as the subluxations were corrected, all of a sudden the baby starts smiling and laughing for the first time in that
Wow.
little boy's life.
Wow.
Awesome.
And how many of us were that little baby
Mhm.
who might have experienced trauma, came into the world in a stressful way, and never ever really got to be free of that?
Mm. Yep.
You know, so I beg of you, please let people know that they have that ability to heal. They have that vital force, and it just gets covered up. And chiropractic is just this wonderful tool that we have. This history of people who've learned so much of how the body works, and we're able to unlock that stress and allow people to express themselves fully.
Mm.
So if you know of one person who doesn't know what you know about chiropractic, please, just one person, let them know. Let them know. So thank you guys. I'm so glad that you took the time to be here, and I hope you learned something.
Definitely.
And please help somebody else. Pass it forward.
Tomorrow, when I see you, Dr. Lester, I need to get a gift certificate for a friend. She has finally said, yeah, she's
Oh,
interested.
awesome.
So, yeah,
Well, thank you.
you're welcome.
And she'll thank you.
Yes. I do believe she will.
Great. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Good
doctor.
night.
You too.
Have a good
Bye-bye.
one.
All right,
Bye-bye.
bye.